Yeah. Oh, 435. I saw the other
sorry.
day at one of the Shell stations, and that particular Shell station does tend to be a little bit high. Most of the stations otherwise have been 419, and I don't even know where to begin with that because I'm not knowledgeable enough in world politics to understand why.
Well, I know there's so much that goes into it.
I mean,
but the last time gas was super high, they say, well, I mean, whatever they say, this is because of this, it's because of this, it's because there's a civil war here, it's because there's a war there, blah, blah, blah. And at the same time, these, like, Mobil and BP, they post, like, record-breaking profits. It's like, well, can you just take a year and really give America a chance to, like, fill up on, like, $2 a gallon?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, the answer to that is probably no, but
right.
it's
well,
like...
we're a capitalistic country. Capitalism is, that's our mainstay as far as our economy goes.
Yeah, I know, but it's just...
I know. It'd be nice if
it's hard to say that it's hard to hear that they need to charge us for this much, and then post, like, record-breaking profits off of the gas.
Now, I was talking to a woman. I took a class this last week in Chicago, and I was talking to a woman who is from Nassau. She's originally from, I think from, like, London area, and then she's from South Africa, moved to London, and then, England somewhere, and then has lived in Nassau for the last 40 years, which to me, that's just such a complete different lifestyle. I can't imagine living on an island in the Bahamas for, like, most of her life. And she loves it there, and but she said gas is $6 a gallon. But at the same time, the island isn't all that big. I thought she said it was like 7 by 21, and I don't know if that's kilometers or miles because I didn't ask her. She just said 7 by 21, and I'm not, I don't know what their unit of measurement is. But so you don't have to drive all that far, pretty much anywhere you go. But she said $6 a gallon, and to me, that's just crazy. And our lives are so dependent upon driving everywhere, with the way we live, our lifestyles. I mean, technically you can walk, technically you can ride our bike, but our culture, again, back to the culture, but our lifestyle is such that you drive everywhere.
Yeah.
And $4.20 or $4.19 a gallon, I mean, you drive to work. Most people live within a driving distance to work, not a walking distance to work. So you can't walk, you can't necessarily ride your bike, and $4.20 a gallon is killer. It adds up really fast.
Yeah. So, anyways, Olympics. I'm happy that they're moving on to track and field stuff.
Yes.
Well, actually, at this point now, I think that stuff is...
It started already.
Yeah. Some of the racing stuff, though, was ending today. Some of the finals racing stuff was today.
Was it?
Yeah. I saw who won some of the stuff.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's people. It's who they thought would win. I don't think the Bionic Man won.
No.
No.
That's an interesting conundrum because you feel so bad for him that he's in that situation to begin with. But then you hear some people say, well, he has an advantage because the prosthetics in his legs help him to go faster or help him to, like, maybe have an advantage. But then at the same time, how can somebody who's lost both their legs have any kind of advantage? It's just terrible. So I don't know what my opinion is. I don't know. I mean, from the studies, what I heard on the Olympics from the newscasters was that the studies found there really wasn't any specific advantage.
Which is why they let him compete.
Right, and that it wouldn't have, or if there is, it's not enough to warrant him not being able to compete. So good for him because he's obviously worked really hard his life and had to work much harder than somebody who has complete both of their legs. Yeah.
My thing is I feel bad because it's one of those things where it was a heated argument. Not heated, but it was it's a very controversial argument about allowing him to compete. So, like, if he did win, if he did place, if he did get a silver or a bronze.
Or a
gold. It's like, he'll enjoy it, but he'll have that stigma of, you won because you had that. You won because you had those braces that, despite them
Prosthetics.
saying, or the prosthetic bracer, whatever, that they studied and they said you didn't have an advantage, but you did, and blah blah blah. It's like
Right. Versus anybody else are going to say, well, you won on your own merit. So yeah, I know it's a tough situation, and kudos to him for being able to make it into the Olympics, to be able to compete at the quality that he's able to compete. I think it's amazing, and good for him. Let the cards fall where they may. Good for him.
Yeah, I suppose. I don't know. I think we're getting to a point where we're going to probably stop because we're past a half an hour.
Already?
Yeah, we're at 35 minutes.
Half a bottle makes a difference, because I remember last episode we were like, oh, we're at 8.5 minutes. Oh, we're at 17 minutes.
Yeah.
Apparently, a little bit of wine goes a long way.
Yeah. And until we spend a little more time doing this, I think it would be a good idea for the next time to actually kind of maybe plan out ahead of time what we're going to really talk about.
I think so too.
I mean, I think having wine helped because it was kind of like it loosened our tongues a little bit. It was kind of like Olympics, whatever, wine. But I think next time we should definitely have a little bit of a plan, more of a structured episode.
I agree.
And I would like to get to a point where, if we actually have people who are listening to us, to submit questions about what we can talk about, things like that.
Yeah.
Because as you say, you don't really have a lot of podcasting experience as far as listening to what they do, but depending on what the category of the podcast you're listening to, they tend to stick to what the podcast is about, but sometimes at the end, most of them save it till the very end. People who listen to the podcast usually submit questions or topics that they think that they're interested in talking about too. So
nice. Well, I'd be totally open to that.
Yeah, if we get somebody who actually wants to follow us,
maybe we'll get.
Well, no, we have people who follow us, but maybe we can get some more people who might actually want to participate.
That would be really fun.
I was interested in doing this episode live, it being the first one, but I think you're kind of hesitant about it until maybe we get a much more structured episode.
Bit, just because the idea of putting it on live, and what if you or I said something that it's like, oh, we either didn't say that right, or it came off as being not how we intended, because I tend to be somebody who sometimes as I'm speaking, I'll be very clear in what I'm intending to say, and sometimes I'm speaking and things come out and it's not at all what I meant for it to be. And I don't want to be, not that I'm worried about offending somebody, but I don't want to be I don't want to be untrue to my character, like to who I am or to what I meant to say. And so it makes me very nervous to be talking live.
And here's the thing. The reason the whole live podcast is really the whole podcast being broadcasting live is only an option because we use Spreaker Radio.
Okay.
The majority of the podcasts out there that you download from IGN or whatever, or not IGN, that you download from iTunes or whatever, you download. They record them, they edit them, however they have to edit them, and then you download them. Very rarely do people do live podcasts.
Okay.
I just thought that if we had actually a few people who followed us, that it would be fun to have it live so that, because Spreaker does offer a chat that people can actually talk straight to us. So
that would be really cool.
But then we'd have to kind of keep it down to a 30-minute minimum. Because we're going over a little bit here. But I think that's okay because we're saving this and then we're going to post it.
Right.
So we'll wrap it up there.
All right. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening. I did go out of my way to set up a Bridal Smith fan page on Facebook. Just look up Bridal Smith. You should be able to find it. Pretty simple. If you listen to the podcast, you like it, that's another way to get a hold of us. The other way is Twitter, Bridal Smith. If you decide that you want to submit a question or follow us or whatever,
contact.
That would be perfect. So that's it. Talk to you next time.
All right.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.